Alright, I'm back. Whenever I watch one of Daniel Green's tier list videos or like tournament videos, I'm disappointed because I think it's going to be like a death battle sort of thing, like a TV series on YouTube, and it never is. So I thought, well, I have this list up. I'm going to arrange them in just like a death battle sort of fashion, like who would win in a fight. I've tried to do this before, previously to making any videos, and I had like my favorite characters from various series fight. And it just didn't work. It was really long and slow, and it didn't really show who was the strongest. It showed who could win in certain circumstances, and so I didn't know how to do it. But then I thought a tier list is like the perfect way to do this because it's a bit more generalized and it's a lot quicker. So I think this could work really well. And it's also fun to see like the most interesting character versus actually the strongest. And I'm just going to do this relative to everyone else. So I think like we'll call A tier, B tier is going to be like a mid-tier sort of character. Well, actually, I guess technically, if we're being reasonable, a mid-tier character should be B or C. So yeah, I'll try to have it less heavily weighted towards the top because the reason that all these like amazing characters are in the top is because they're from the best fantasy books of all time. Okay, and let's get rid of the people I don't know anything about their fighting capabilities. I do know a bit about these two, even though I haven't seen the series, so I think I can keep them in. So let's start with this man. He is low mid tier, I think. This is Locke Lamore. He is an amazing con artist, very clever, not bad in a street fight either, but he is not a warrior. That's his friend Jean. Like if you want to have some, if you need someone to back you up in a fight of this list, do not choose him. He has no powers. He's just got his brains. His brains are very smart, but in a fight, he's not going to win, no matter yeah. Like maybe he could get the drop on someone if he does something sneaky, but that's almost an assassination rather than a fight at that point, and yeah, so he's going to be C. So we're going to base everyone roughly off of him, I think. Okay, let's just should I pull people out of here or Vimes? Right, I'm going to put Vimes here for now. Vimes, much like Locke Lamore, just a normal guy with no superpowers except for the darkness in his head, but I think that can basically discount mind control. But he's like in vein of all Discworld characters, he's supernaturally good at fighting. Like he's the best street brawler around. Well, he's not the best. I think his butler might be better, but he's never going to fight fair. He's very smart. He can like see someone in the dark because the patch of shadow where they stand is darker, sort of thing. Like he's very wily. He's like the best you can be without being magical in some way. And yeah, so he's going to be B tier. I'm going to put Jon Snow. I'm going to put Jon Snow down here. Jon Snow, also an amazing fighter. And actually, if I put Jon Snow here, I might put Locke here. Because Jon Snow, Game of Thrones character, they're all ridiculously good fighters for a medieval world. And Jon Snow is decent among them, if I remember. It's been a while, and he's not in too many fights. Yeah, he's just not... I think, like, he's got a sword, but Vimes, I think, could have a sword if he wanted, or a club, or a truncheon, or whatever he wanted. And Vimes is not going to play fair. He's going to be real dirty and, low blows and all that. And yeah, I don't think Jon Snow would give him a run for his money, but I think Vimes is just a step above. I might do something like this, but for now we'll do it like this, and we'll see how much room we have. Okay, let's do an easy one. Randall Thor, ridiculously powerful. I have to give this one to Daniel, who I made the previous video for, or about. Rand is basically a god, like, and well, depending on spoilers, like, yeah, as the series goes on, Rand just gets more and more powerful to the point of ridiculousness. He is the Dragon Reborn, and the previous dragon created a mountain rage when he was, a bit upset about everyone dying. Yeah, he's amazing. I think at one point he fights 10,000 Trollocs, or some number crazy like that, and he just starts opening these gates that they're like teleportation gates, but they're infinitely thin, and so they're as sharp as possible. He just opens them up and closes them rapidly, blinking on and off throughout the battlefield, and he's raining down fireballs the whole time, and I think the fireballs might even be shooting out the teleporters. and he destroys this entire army on his own. That's not his greatest power feat. So yeah, he's a god basically. I don't know if anyone on this list can come close to him. Maybe Quoth and Vin. I'll just check them up here for the moment. Where'd she go? There she is. Yeah, so Quoth, he is, well, he's not that powerful in the books, but it's very strongly suggested that he's Tal'Varin, which means he can basically do anything as long as he knows your name and he can figure out your name. I think I'm going to have to put him up at S tier just for who he will become, like Coat, and because it's already been hinted that's who he is. So at his best, he's amazing. I don't think he would beat Rand just because Rand has, well, range on him basically. Rand can teleport anywhere, rewind time even to some extent with Balefire. Rand isn't limited by having to, you know, do all these like find out words and then say the words and like once Quoth has Rand's name, Rand would be in trouble. But Rand's a pretty complicated guy, ever changing, maybe like the wind, and that took Quoth, you know, at least 2 books to try to get that name. In the split second it would take Quoth to figure out Rand's name, he'd already be dead if it came to a fight. Vin, now I would put her lower normally. Yeah, okay, she's gonna go lower. So she is a Mistborn. She's the second best or best Mistborn, depending on how well you think Kelsier taught her. I'm going to go by like the start of the series, I think, in case people are wondering why I don't have a definite on Kelsier versus her. But yeah, she can control metal. She can, so she can basically fly. She can influence people's emotions. She's super strong, has amazing senses. Yeah, she's pretty magical, but it's very complicated magic. It's not something that's going to give you an unfair edge, like something like Dresden might have. Actually, yeah, I might have to squish this list together a little bit because, yeah, I want Dresden to be above Vin. So we're going to have to say, okay, so yeah, Dresden. Now this guy, the classic is he resurrected a Tyrannosaurus Rex and rode on its back while like casting spells and like on a giant zombie Tyrannosaurus Rex, and he froze like Lake Michigan, I believe, like a decent chunk of it, and shot a massive fireball out. He's a wizard. He has control over the fundamental powers of nature, and it shows. Like ice, lightning, fire, he can do it all. He can absorb magic. He can spit it back out. Or energy, sorry, not just magic. He's a master at his craft. He's one of the 50 most powerful wizards in the world, and he's only 40 years old. And most people don't get that until they're like, you know, in their hundreds or something. So he's very powerful, and he's well on his route to becoming the most powerful wizard on Earth. He also has more battle experience than like any of the other wizards, and more than a lot of these characters too. Actually, it's a pretty hardy bunch, but more than quite a few of them. Like he's definitely got more than Frodo, who's not a fighter. I almost need another tier just to stick Frodo down on, because yeah, I don't think Locke would even have that much trouble against him. Yeah, maybe we could have something. It's a little tricky because I'm just looking at Aragon. And Aragon, I think, is another best a man can be sort of character. He's got a magic sword, which helps. He goes into the massive battle in the 3rd book, the battle for Minas Tirith. Comes back without a scratch because he's such an amazing warrior. He's probably even better than Sam, and so he is the best warrior in Middle-earth, and that's saying something. You know, 10-to-1 odds against orcs, that means nothing to him. Like, Boromir fights 100-to-1 orcs or something and does all right, and the Uruk-hai are bragging that they killed Boromir, and they outnumbered him ridiculously, and Aragorn's an even better fighter than that. So yeah, Aragorn has to be high, and he has a magic sword, which gives him a huge advantage. Very similarly, Hadrian Blackwater, he's got an unbreakable sword, which he only pulls out if he needs it, but, you know, in this list, he definitely needs it. He's also the greatest fighter in his series, and I think in a straight-up fight between him and Aragorn, well, Aragorn's sword has broken, Blackwater's sword hasn't broken, and can't, and I think that alone is a pretty decent edge. There's people like Imrahil, Boromir, Aramir. There's people you can compare to Aragon. There's no one you can compare to Hadrian. So he's gonna go. He's gonna be higher than Aragon. Aragorn. Who do we got here? We've got Harry Potter. Now this is a weird one. Harry. Okay, let's see. Harry and Vin, right? Harry Potter versus Vin. So Vin's got like 14 spells basically. Harry's got hundreds, but he only ever uses like 2. He has Expelliarmus, and he does a bit of Protego. He does a bit of Stupefy. He's pretty smart, but he's like probably a moderately good wizard. He's amazing at Patronuses. He also has a decent amount of battle experience, but I don't know if he has anything that can stop Vin. Vin can also see the future. That is huge. I forgot about that actually. I still think Harry might be able to beat Vin, but seeing the future is pretty big. So I think Vin beats. I think Vin. No, Harry's good at. Harry's fought that sort of stuff before, like not seeing the future, but you know, just put fire everywhere, and then she can't avoid it anyways. But Harry, I don't think he could adapt in time, and he doesn't really have anything to bring Vin down. Whereas, even though I think Harry is more powerful in a fight, I don't think Harry's going to beat Vin. This Harry, Harry Potter. Harry Dresden, I think, would win in a fight. Okay, we have... Actually, you know what? Aang I'm going to get rid of because I've played some video games with him, and he seems pretty powerful, and he can do a lot of stuff, but I have no idea what his limits are, and I don't want to make people angry about it like I was with Daniel for his protagonist tier list, so I'm just going to leave him out of it. This man, Roland, I think I will also leave out of it, although Roland, I'm fairly confident would be up here with like the Quoth sort of character. And not necessarily, I think someone like, well, it's interesting actually, because I think he could possibly beat Harry, because he's, as I understand it, an amazing shot, and if he just, you know, if he can't miss and he shoots Harry, then he wins, and there's nothing Harry can do. Whereas someone like Vin can see the future and also actually push bullets. So Vin weirdly might be able to beat him, but not Harry, even though I think Roland could beat Harry. But I'm going to take him out of it, just so I don't make a fool of myself. More than I already have done. Kaladin. Oh boy. Okay, so Kaladin is in that sort of league of best fighters, best fighter in the world. He beat someone that was magically enhanced with a shard plate and a shard sword. I think he had both. With just a spear, and that's before he gets like the power to, well, do all sorts of crazy stuff. Okay, this is going to be spoilers for the end of the first book and the entire second book. So if you don't want Stormlight Archive spoilers, then I don't know, skip ahead or stop watching the video or something. But he can fly, and that's pretty good. And he's an amazing fighter. But I think in like a straight up fight he would lose to Hadrian. With his powers, he might be able to beat Hadrian, so I'm going to put him down here. But he's amazing. But he doesn't have like supernatural powers like these guys. Okay, that leaves us with just these two. We've got Field Marshal Tamis and Fitzchivalry Farseer. Okay, let's start with Tamis. He is going to be a hard one to place because he's got a musket, which against these medieval characters is very useful. I think he could beat any one of them actually because, I mean, he's got a musket. What are they going to do? Someone like Kaladin might dodge, but Tamis is a powder mage, and he can steer his bullets, and he can also shoot musket without bullets. Plus, he's super strong and super fast. He's got regenerative abilities and heightened hearing. He's basically Vin with a musket minus the power to see into the future, and he can't control metal. Well, he can actually control metal. I think in a fight with Harry, you know, I might move Harry down actually, because I think even Kaladin. Yeah, I think Kaladin would win against Harry. And Tamis, I think, could beat Kaladin. So he's going to be either like A tier on this side or high B tier. Um, I'm going to say, well, there's more people in B tier for now, so we'll put them in A just so it looks nicer. And finally, we have Fitz Chivalry Farce here. So just going up from the bottom. Well, these are obvious. So Fitz, if you don't know him, he's an amazing fighter, which his fighting alone, I think, puts him, here at least. Yeah, he's not quite an Aragon or Aragorn, and I don't know if he's even a Samuel Vimes, but he's really good. He's one of the best. He's a berserker, and that really helps him. Fitz also is basically unkillable. He's got incredible regenerative powers, like ridiculous regenerative powers, which, yeah, I think that would put him more on par with someone like Kaladin. But I'm not done yet. He's got the power of mind control using the wit. He can stun people and confuse them, which brings him up to here. Now we have Vin. She can resist mind control, and she can see into the future, so that's pretty crazy. Not done yet, though, because he also is one of the most powerful practitioners at the skill, which does something. You can, boom, you can give people nightmares. I know that. You can kind of do anything, it's just hard to. So yeah, I think he's going to stay there because he's not actually he has these powers and he's incredibly strong in them, but he doesn't know how to use them. So he's not a master of his craft like Vin or Harry Dresden or Quoth. And Rand's not even a master. He's just got infinite power. So yeah, there's my tier list of strongest to weakest. Slightly different from who the best characters are. I just thought that'd be kind of fun, and I don't know how it turned out, but yeah, enjoy. And thanks again for watching and indulging me in this. All right, bye.